It only happened once. No fight, no alcohol, no excuse. I wasn't unhappy. I just saw my ex one afternoon and I let it happen. The same ex who cheated on me and left me broken for years. And I cheated on the man who helped me rebuild. I went home to my husband, kissed him like nothing happened, and never said a word. That was 3 years ago. We still have the perfect marriage. At least, that's what everyone thinks. But every time he tells me he loves me, I remember the one thing I'll never tell him: that I betrayed him. That I chose to destroy everything we built for nothing, for all this to make sense. I need to take you back to the beginning because the way we got here matters. Because the choice I made that day didn't come from a broken marriage or a life falling apart. It came from somewhere quieter, more complicated. It came from a past I never thought I'd revisit. James and I met in college. I was studying English, literature, and he was in architecture, meticulous, patient, the kind of man who notices details others miss. From the moment we met, he made me feel safe. Not in a boring, dull way, but in a way that promised stability without taking away the joy. He had these big, kind eyes that never judged me, even when I was reckless. We started dating during our sophomore year. James was everything I thought I wanted. Thoughtful, loving, always there. I was a bit wild, chasing dreams and pushing boundaries, but he held my hand through it all. He was the calm to my storm. Our first year together was a whirlwind. I remember sitting in the campus coffee shop with him one rainy afternoon, laughing over spilled books and shared secrets. We talked about the future, where we'd live, what kind of life we'd build. By the time we graduated, we were inseparable. We moved into a small apartment downtown, working hard, dreaming big. 2 years later, we married. Our wedding was simple but perfect. Surrounded by friends and family, I promised to love him forever, and he promised the same. We meant it. We really did. We bought a modest house in the suburbs, filled it with warmth and hope. James designed our home with care every corner. Reflecting his vision and love, I worked in marketing, but I never minded. My world was James, our friends, our quiet life, but my past wasn't done with me. Before James, there was Alex. Alex was the opposite of James in every way. He wasn't reckless per se, but in comparison to my husband, he was wild, full of passion. When I met Alex in high school, I was young and restless. He was the boy who lit fires in my heart and made me feel alive in a way no one else did. Our relationship was intense, full of late-night drives, stolen kisses behind the bleachers, and promises whispered under the stars, but it was also unstable. He was impulsive, unpredictable. Our fights were fiery. Our makeup moments were electric. There was a magnetic pull between us that burned hot, but it was also destructive. We were like two storms crashing against each other, never quite in sync. The final blow came the summer before I left for college. I had gone to his apartment unannounced one afternoon, something I never did. I wanted to surprise him, or maybe I just needed reassurance after days of silence and coldness between us. When I opened the door, I heard laughter coming from the bedroom. It was light and familiar, but not his. I followed the sound, heart pounding, hoping it was just a friend. But I found them Alex with another girl. They didn't even notice me at first, caught up in their own world. The way he looked at her like she was the only person in the room crushed something inside me. I stood frozen, unable to breathe. She saw me in the doorway and froze too. There was no excuse, no explanation, just the raw, undeniable truth. He scrambled, stammering, trying to explain. But the words didn't matter anymore. I turned and walked out, each step heavier than the last. That day, I decided I was done with him, with the chaos, the lies, the heartbreak. I told myself I was choosing something better, something stable. Years passed, Alex became a memory I tried to forget. James came along. I was happy. I really was. I had everything I needed with James. He made me believe in love again. Slowly, he knew about my past. He was patient, understanding. The world finally started to make sense, honestly. But of course, that didn't last. I wouldn't be here if it did. One ordinary Wednesday afternoon, everything changed. And I mean everything. I was running errands in the city, balancing a grocery bag in one hand and my phone in the other when I saw him. He was sitting outside a little cafe, looking older, wearier, but unmistakably Alex. I couldn't believe my eyes. It really was him for a moment. I froze, my heart hammered in my chest. I felt a rush of emotions I hadn't expected. Nostalgia, desire, fear. I thought about walking away, but instead, I walked toward him. He looked up, surprised. "Hey," he said, voice rougher than I remembered. "Hey," I replied. We sat and talked. Just talked, I promise. I don't know why. Honestly, to me it was harmless back then. Just two people with a past catching up. At first, it was small talk about work, life, how the years had passed. We spoke cautiously, each word measured, like testing the waters. But then the conversation shifted. The smiles grew softer. The looks lingered longer. There was something in his eyes, a flicker of the old spark, the reckless energy we once shared. He told me about his struggles, how life hadn't gone as planned, how he drifted from one dead-end job to another, trying to find a purpose. I told him about James, about our life together, how steady and loving it was somehow in that cafe, between memories and confessions. The walls I'd built started to crumble. Before we parted, Alex asked for my number. I hesitated but gave it to him. Something about the way he asked made it feel like a lifeline. And besides, what's the harm in just giving out my number? It's not like it meant anything. Oh, but it did. Over the next few days, we started texting. At first, it was casual, sharing jokes, updates on our days, reminders of old times. But soon, the messages grew more frequent, more personal. Late into the night, my phone would buzz with his name lighting up the screen. We talked about everything, our dreams, regrets, and the parts of ourselves we rarely showed anyone. Each message chipped away at my resolve. The thrill of being seen, truly seen, by someone who once knew me completely, was intoxicating. I told myself it was just nostalgia, harmless. But with every word, every shared secret, I felt myself slipping deeper. James wasn't blind. He noticed my giggles, staring at the phone. Noticed me being absent while we sat on the couch to binge watch our favorite show together. He never asked who I was texting. He wasn't the type to, but I could tell from the way he looked at me, he knew something was off. One evening, after hours of texting, Alex asked if I wanted to meet again. My heart raced, but I said yes. Of course I did. I lied to James. Said it was a last-minute girls' night out. I convinced myself it was harmless. There was no reason for him to know who exactly I was meeting up with. It was just a friend anyway. It wouldn't make a difference. But I think I already planned on how the night would end when I told him not to wait up for me, that I'd be late to return home. When I arrived at the cafe that night, the air was thick with unspoken tension. We sat close, hands occasionally brushing, smiles shy but charged with electricity. We talked until closing time, laughter mingling with silence. Outside, the streetlights cast long shadows as if watching our reunion unfold. I was about to leave. He offered to walk me to my car. I knew what that meant. The parking lot was dark. I let his hand trace my waist as I walked. Slowly, his touch deliberate. Let it happen. Then, as I was unlocking my car, I felt his breath. On my neck I turned, fully knowing. I think I kissed him first. He pulled me close, kissed me back harder. The kiss deepened and I felt the years fall away. All the reasons I'd stayed away seemed to vanish in that moment. I tried to pull back, but I didn't. The night blurred into a tangle of hands, whispered names, and trembling skin that one night stretched into hours. A collision of past and present. And just like that, the line I'd drawn between what was and what could never be disappeared. We couldn't wait. The drive to his apartment was frantic. I couldn't keep my hands off him. This was urgent, desperate, filled with everything we'd left unsaid. His apartment was small, cluttered with memories of a life I didn't know anymore. We didn't say much, we just fell into each other. There was no passion left, just an ache, a desperation. I remember the scent of his skin, the roughness of his hands, the way his eyes searched mine like he was trying to find something lost. It didn't last. I guess part of me didn't want it to. I couldn't stay after. He didn't offer either. Driving home, I felt hollow and alive all at once. I told myself it was a mistake one time, and never again. I walked in the door, found my husband already in bed. I kissed James on the cheek. He smiled, asked how my night went, half asleep. I smiled back and lied, but I was dying inside by then. I couldn't face him. When I crawled in bed next to him, I faced away from him. I couldn't let him see the tears. He'd be curious. He'd have questions. Questions I couldn't answer. Over the next few days, I devoted myself to James completely. He loved me harder. I reciprocated. I gave him my everything. Blocked Alex's number. He didn't fight it. I guess he was just in it for the thrill of it. But no matter how hard I tried, the secret became a shadow in my life. I carried it alone. Every time James said I love you, I felt the weight of my betrayal. I wondered if he knew, could sense the distance I tried to hide. The guilt was suffocating. I thought about telling him, but fear kept me silent. Fear of losing him, fear of shattering the life we built. It's now been 3 years later. 3 long years. James hasn't stopped loving me one bit. He only loved me more and more. I did so too, but I wake up every day with this knot in my stomach. What if in some way, in any possible way, he finds out? The secret still lives inside me. Our marriage is strong on the surface. James is loving, devoted, unaware, but I am broken in ways he can't see. I wonder if I'm still the woman he married, if I'm still the woman I want to be, if the past will ever stop chasing me. I don't know if I'll ever tell him. I don't think I have it in me. What I have with James is too perfect, too safe, too secure. I can't lose it all. I know James loves me. He does, with his everything. But I don't think he can forgive me once he finds out. So no, he can't find out. I'll do everything in my power so that he doesn't. It never happened. It's not real. I'm too afraid. Maybe I don't deserve the love James gives me every day. But I do know this. I let it happen once, and that one moment changed everything.